Hello, everyone. Today we're going to take a minute and we're going to look at one of Ella's master interior searches. And what I love about this is we actually have all three rooms, which you don't always get all three rooms on film. Now, room 1 and 3 were not easy to get, but we do have something. So we're going to take that as a win. First room is a hallway. Second room is directly behind that hallway, and then the third room is entirely separate from them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Ella works Oda right off the start line. She comes out to the end of the hallway and alerts on her first hide. Now there is a maximum of 3 in each room. I'm going to reward her, and she goes back out and actually works the second hide off of the information from the first one quite nicely. So we're going to hit that one. Now I have not been very happy with how we covered the first half of the hall. So after this one, you are going to be able to see the alert. We're going to make sure that we check both sides. So she's going to come in here in a second. She sees her dad and thinks about going to visit with him, but then she goes back to work. I have her come along this side, and I was quite impressed with how quickly she actually hit that one after my presentation. So there was one just right up there in that light socket right here. All right, so now we're going to move on to room 2. Remember, room 2 is the room directly behind this one in the hallway. Now, this is an interesting room to watch, and it's actually one of the reasons that I wanted to share it with you. And that's because I am still figuring out when I want to take Ella off leash and when I want to leave her on leash. So I prefer in interiors and even exteriors to run my dogs off leash when I can. That's my preference. It has been for a long time. I used to run Luna off leash pretty much exclusively whenever I could. But although Ella works really well off leash, sometimes it's harder for me to remember where she's been and where she hasn't been when we're off leash. So I've been working her a little bit more on leash to help limit that. But this was a space that was a little harder to work on leash. So you're going to actually see me take her off leash and then put her back on. So we're going to head out. She's working. She's going to come down, and she quite nicely works this one right here. Reward. I'm going to send her back out. I did see a little bit of change of behavior over here, so I wanted to double check this area coming in from a different angle. This is her kind of being like, I can look, but I'm not smelling anything else. Now, there was a little bit of change of behavior by the door, but I believe that's coming from the hide that's outside of the room. So at this point, I felt like we had covered it pretty well, but I needed to have her work behind the chairs. And this is where I start, or between the rows. And this is where I was really struggling with handling in that tight space. So I was looking it. And then I kind of just wanted her to go down the rows before I called finish in the space. There was only the one hide. So this is us just clearing the area. Do I have to go up and down every row? Not necessarily, but sometimes you get in a space and you have to feel comfortable before you can call finish. So we got it. And then we're going to go to the last one. Now, this one is a very tiny room, and my husband got very creative and shot it through the blinds. You're not going to be able to see a lot, but you will be able to see the alert. So this is her searching this back area here. There is only one hide in the space. We worked this one for quite a minute, and I think that this was just her trying. So a lot of times when you have a dog that's really trying, you're going to see them work harder, even though there's no odor available. This is her working that last hide. And that was it. We went ahead and we called finish and she was done. Oh, I guess we did check this spot one more time before we called finish. That's okay. It's having her check underneath. Again, this is a time where I might have decided to run her off leash just because she could have checked under the desks a little bit better without the leash there. But she's good to go. All right, so that is our master interior search. I hope you guys saw a little bit in there that you can take away. Always think about, you know, whether or not you should run on or off. That's a big one. And whether or not you are overworking your dog. So for example, I thought, or I definitely should have been able to call finish after the first hide in this room, but I decided to search it a little bit more than that. Make sure that you know the dog that's in front of you, because if you over search and you continually over search, you're going to start to kill your dog's drive. So this was actually third day of a 3-day weekend. That's a long weekend for her. She worked it great though. I didn't see any change in her when I had her go back out and search, but be careful with that, not to overwork your dog. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.